Okay, let's let the sound of this next bell take us to the deepest place within us. All right, good morning, everyone. I would like to just begin by introducing our guest speaker and musician for today. Some of you, or I'm sure many of you, remember or know him already. We have Daniel Nahmod here with us this morning. Yeah. And just a little bit of background about Daniel is he's Orange County, California-based singer, songwriter, producer, and humanitarian, Daniel Nahmod, who has performed his profound, heart-opening music for over 1 million people across 45 U.S. states and Canada. Now, you may recognize him from his appearances on Saturday Night Live, The Voice, American Idol, the Super Bowl, and the Today Show. Yeah, that deserves applause. Go ahead. His poetic and evocative message of peace, love, and compassion unites nations, cultures, and faiths, especially in favorites like One Power, a cherished gem here at Awakening Ways. It's a perfect fit for our All-In, I Thrive in 2025 theme. So Daniel live streams Musical Monday Night on Facebook, sharing joy weekly, and today he's brought Easter candies crafted by his son Jude, stunning jewelry from his wife Melina, and his own woodworking creations and music on the merch table. And so I also just want to, actually, let's welcome Daniel Nahmod. Yeah. And I want to remind everyone to remember to stay afterwards because there's going to be an amazing concert. And also we've got food for you. Okay. All right. Daniel Nahmod. Woohoo!
Even if you don't like the music, there's food. Hello, everybody. Nice to be back in this beautiful room. And today is it's about breakthrough, but I'm going to come at it from a slightly different direction. And if you haven't heard an unmotivating talk recently, that's what this is going to be. This is going to be the opposite of a motivational talk. So if you're feeling a little overmotivated, just a little stressed and strained, if you're looking at your own life or your body in the mirror or reading headlines or looking at your financial statements and feeling like there's room for improvement here, I better get to work, that is not what I'm going to be saying to you today. So if you're inclined to take a deep breath with me, that's what this song is intended to be, and that's what this morning, from my perspective, is intended to be. A little bit of a deep breath and a little bit of an acknowledgement of what is and what isn't ours to do, what we are in control of and what we're not in control of. When my hands were emptied, when my hope was gone, I couldn't help but wonder, what had I done wrong. But even though my heart was broken, there was no need to despair, 'cause a vessel must be open to put something better there. Oh yeah. Into my empty hands, gently you pour new life for me. Yours is a perfect plan. The ups and the downs were meant to be. Now I understand you needed my empty hands. So forgive me when I doubted. I admit sometimes I do. Or consider giving up 'cause I cannot see the truth. I know I'll never go without it. Your deep and abiding love, oh love. Into my empty hands, gently you pour new life for me. Yours is a perfect plan. The ups and the downs were meant to be. Now I understand you needed my empty Yours is a perfect plan. The ups and the downs were meant to be. And I cannot help but cry to think of the gifts you've given me. Now I understand you needed my empty hands. So thank you for thank you for thank you for my empty hands. I've been planting seeds on the ground, watering them with my sweat and tears, scattering them all around. Guess it's what I'm supposed to do with my years. The funny thing is, I may know what I've planted, but never what will show. It always seems to be a perfect mystery. Whatever grows will grow, whatever dies will die, whatever works will work, Whatever flies will fly, whatever fails will fail. What's meant to soar will soar. I am planting seeds, nothing more. Sometimes I still like to pretend I know what the harvest will be, but I always find out in the end it was never really up to me. The funny thing is when I just do my work and simply trust, it always seems that life is looking out for me. Whatever grows will grow, whatever dies will die, whatever works will work, whatever flies will fly, whatever fails will fail. What's meant to soar will soar. I am planting seeds, nothing more. And I am only one of billions of seeds. When all is said and done, I just do what's mine to do and let it be. Whatever grows will grow, whatever dies will die, whatever works will work, whatever flies will fly, whatever fails will fail, and what's meant to soar will soar. I am planting seeds. I am asked pretty often, who influenced me as a songwriter, and this song gives it away. Clearly, I grew up in a house with Peter, Paul, and Mary, and the Weavers and the Limelighters. Whatever grows will grow. Steve Goodman. Whatever dies will die. Whatever works will work. Whatever flies will fly. I've always thought of it as the most cheerful song with the word die in it. Whatever fails will fail, and what's meant to soar will soar. I am planting seeds. However, it is a sneaky, tricky lesson hidden in this song. I don't know about you, but I do not start something and not care how it's going to turn out. Whatever grows will grow. A business, a marriage, a friendship. You buy a car, you want it to last. You buy a house, you want it to not leak, Whatever dies will die. You have a child, you want it to grow up healthy and happy. Whatever works will work. A lawnmower. Whatever flies will fly. Whatever fails will fail. Surgery. Right? Chemotherapy. What's meant to soar will soar. Your dream, your idea. I am planting seeds. Whatever grows will grow. Whatever dies will die. Whatever works will work. Whatever flies will fly. Whatever fails will fail. What's meant to soar will soar. I am planting seeds. Whatever grows will grow. Whatever dies will die. Whatever works will work. Whatever flies will fly. Whatever fails will fail. What's meant to soar will soar. I am planting seeds. Planting seeds. I am planting seeds. Nothing more.
Wow. Woo! All right, friends. So we're not on our feet, so I'm going to ask you to please stand and turn to one another and offer the Namaste greeting. Namaste. Namaste, Travis. Namaste, BJ. I see you back there. Namaste to our tech team, Brian and Jesus. Namaste to our love streamers. Namaste, Daniel. Namaste, Reverend Diane. Welcome. Okay, my my friends, and as you take your seat, please also take a moment to silence your cell phones or whatever devices you have that make noise. Namaste, everyone. I'm Reverend Elizabeth Raleigh Hogue, and I am the spiritual leader here. I use she, her gender pronouns, and the land upon which we gather is the unceded territory of the Chumash and Salinan people. And it is my joy to welcome you to the Awakening Ways Center for Spiritual Living, where all that we ask is that you remain open to the possibility of changing your entire life by changing your mind. This service has been designed especially for you. Welcome home. We have been waiting for you. And we have an affirmation for today. I invite you to please repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening to me.
Something wonderful is happening to me.
Something wonderful is happening by me.
Something wonderful is happening by me.
Something wonderful is happening through me.
Something wonderful is happening through me.
Something wonderful is happening as me.
Something wonderful is happening as me.
It is this thing called life. And so it is. All right. And now I want to call your attention to a couple of things. Within your program, you should have a salmon-colored paper, and that is a prayer request form. And now we are a community who loves to pray, and we have a soul support team of 10 individuals who are licensed practitioners and licensed ministers who pray over the prayer requests that you submit. And they pray for the week for you. And prayer is so powerful. And so we invite you to, complete a prayer request form, whether there's something that is heavy on your heart for which you would like prayer for, or maybe you're looking to manifest something in your life, whatever it is. There's nothing too small, nothing too big. Please consider filling out the prayer request form. And we have our prayer request box over on the right, my right, this week. And there's additional forms over there if you've got more prayers that you need to include. You can put your prayer request form once you fill it out in that box, or you can place it in the offering basket when that comes around, and we'll take those out and put them in there for you. And then we have our practitioner, Norma, this morning holding the high watch for us. And what she's doing is she's in a meditative state, holding consciousness for this service, ensuring that all is well. And so she's non-responsive because she is holding that space, all right? She's good to go, though. There's nothing to worry about. And then we have Susan Jones, who is our practitioner for today, and she's also a ministerial student, and she's going to come on up. But I want to invite you to see her after the service because she's offering 1-minute miracles in the foyer. You can't pass that up. Again, maybe you just need a supercharge, a super boost of gratitude, whatever it is, or maybe you came in with something on your heart that is really hurting. Get some prayer from Susan. She's amazing. You're going to find out in a moment because she's about to come on up and do our opening prayer and Science of Mind reading. Let's give her some love.
Oh, good morning, loves. So I'm going to start with a reading from 365 Science of Mind. That is our book of the year. And what we practitioners have been doing on Sunday is reading you excerpts from that day. So that it is a daily devotional. So for today, the theme is living without fear. Fear robs the future of pleasurable and enthusiastic anticipation because it casts a shadow of its past into the future. It robs today of the possibility of fulfillment because it denies the good we might experience in the moment in which we live. How much better would it be if we could think as a child thinks, abandoning ourselves to the integrity of the miracle-working universe in which we live? If the warmth of the sun can melt an iceberg, why should it not follow that there must be something in us, operating through us, that can dissolve any difficulty, remove any obstruction? We should consciously practice having faith just as we would practice becoming a musician. We should do mental exercises to build up our acceptance of good. And so if you feel comfortable closing your eyes, I know that that power and that presence, that divine creator, is present all the time. And in this moment, we turn our attention to that power and presence. Every single thing we experience, including ourselves, is a direct outpicturing of that creative mind. And so I know that this very room, each person in this room, all the aspects of God are apparent and present right here. And I know that everything that we are experiencing today, the music, the words, the love that shines from one another's eyes as we take it all in, every bit of that is God's gift to us. And we give back by being that. And so I know that this is the day that God made. And I know that Daniel is right there in the flow, shining that light of love and wisdom on each and every one of us. And so with great gratitude, I release this prayer because I know it is already demonstrated. And together we say, and so it is.
I have never wanted time to go so slow as when I'm watching my little boy grow. When he took his first small steps and toddled by, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. But when it's time, we're all gonna learn to walk. When it's time, he's gonna learn how to talk back. When it's time, there's no stopping that clock. When it's time. I have never wanted time to go so fast, paying dues like I'd be paying to the last, singing songs for friendly strangers in a tiny town. May not be the best way to be found, but when it's time, I'll write the song I'm born to write. When it's time, I'll step out into those lights. When it's time, yeah, the music will be mine. When it's time. And who can say where or when our story will end or begin again? We can try to hold back the tide, but everything comes and goes, and nobody really knows. I have never wanted time to stand so still. Thought we could live forever just by force of will. but the day will come we'll have to say goodbye. We will never know the reason why. But when it's time, we have just so many years. When it's time, just so much laughter, tears. When it's time, we go back to where we're from. When it's time. In 1983, I started high school with my, he's a very distant cousin, but he's more so a good friend, like feels like a brother, right? I'd only known him since I was 6 or 7, but it took us a little while to realize that we were distantly related through a couple of marriages. He had just arrived, when I met him at 7 years old, he had just arrived from Ukraine with his parents. He and I hit it off, and our families saw each other here and there, so we became friends. His name is Mike, and or Misha in Polish, in Russian or in Ukrainian, Misha. And he had musical talent, and I had musical talent. And we listened to music together, especially in high school. He was into classical music in a very, very big way. He was as into classical music as anybody you'd ever heard like be into rock music. He was like, wait, you gotta hear this new Rachmaninoff, and I'm like, okay, you're dooming your social life, but that's okay, I didn't have one either, by the way. So he was very passionate about music, and so was I. And in fact, we at some point in high school, I don't remember when, we actually started a little band, and it was horrible music, and we still joke about how horrible it was. But we also joined the high school band at Niles North High School in Skokie, Illinois, a suburb of Chicago. We both joined the band as freshmen, the concert band, and neither one of us played a band instrument, so the band director slotted us in instruments that he needed, which is fair enough, which happens all the time. And the band director's name was Elton Isley. He was very proud, Mr. Isley was very proud of the fact that he was related to an astronaut named Isley. I don't know if you look it up. One of the NASA astronauts, or maybe Gemini astronauts, was a cousin of his. So Elton Isley, as far as I can remember, it was his first band directing job, his first teaching job. So he seemed old to us, of course, but he was a young man, and he had a mustache, and he had occasionally a short temper, but who wouldn't, with 60 or 70 high school kids who couldn't tune an instrument, much less pay attention, But he was a terrific band director, and he gave me a trombone to play, and he gave Mike a bassoon to play. Okay? Well, neither one of us is a particularly I'm harder working than he is, okay? In general, I am. But not in music. When Mr. Isley gave Mike a bassoon, he took to it like a fish in water and started practicing hours a day. And I had enough natural talent combined with my natural laziness to become the best trombone player in my high school, but really no further, because I just had a natural ability. In other words, I don't play out of tune, But you got to work hard to get excellent at anything, and I didn't work hard. Mike worked hard, and by the time he finished high school, he wasn't just the best bassoon player at Niles North, he was the best bassoon player in the area, and went to college as a major in bassoon, and started auditioning in the middle of college, started auditioning for every regional and local and small scale orchestra that he could find an audition for. And it was a slow and steady climb for years. I watched him, not get this crappy little local orchestra and then get it, but not get the slightly better regional one, and then get that one, and then not get the city one from the city down. And at one point he was in 5 orchestras at one time. they would have, he'd overlap it, rehearsals and performances, and we're talking about you'd get paid $40 a rehearsal, and he put in. I remember he bought a car. He'd be impressed to know that I remember this, but he bought a car, and it had about 40,000 miles on it in its first year, because of how many rehearsals he was hitting the highway for all over the region in the Chicago area to make it in bassoon. Then the auditions started getting higher class, and he started getting close to very good orchestras, and then he was in the top 3 of very good orchestras, and then one day landed the Seattle Symphony Orchestra as a bassoon player, which is one of the better orchestras in the United States, very well funded, as you can imagine, in the Seattle area. Well-funded matters in orchestras, and orchestra players are very well paid in good orchestras, in the best orchestras. They're paid, they're tenured, they're union, they're protected jobs, and they start at very good salaries. And part of the reason is it's hard to get into one of them, and there are very few bassoonists in the United States who make a living at bassoon. If you think about how many orchestras at an echelon that pay a 6-figure salary, let's say, they really do. Some of them start even more than that, depending on the cost of living. San Francisco Symphony, you'll start at $150,000 or $200,000 a year, which, by the way, you can't really live on in maybe or maybe not you can, but these are elite jobs, and they are exceptionally hard to get. We're talking about thousands. When they have an audition for one of these jobs, hundreds of people, hundreds of the best bassoonists in the United States and around the world sometimes, will come in to audition for the one slot, right? It's like the Olympics. If you miss a note, that's the end of your audition. They'll put music in front of you and you'll sight read it that you've never seen before. If you miss a note, that's the end of the audition. You're behind a screen for most of it, knowing that the entire bassoon section and the conductor are on the other side of the screen listening. And you're cold sight reading a piece of music for those people, right? That's what we're talking about. We're talking about elite, impeccable skill. Don't miss a note skill, okay? So after the Seattle Symphony, his wife is even more talented at her instrument than he is at his. And that's saying a lot, because he is one of the finest bassoon players in the United States now. And his wife is one of the finest violinists in the United States. His wife is the concert master for the San Francisco Ballet Orchestra. Okay, so they moved to San Francisco, and he became the sub. He didn't take another orchestra job. He had to leave this beloved Seattle Symphony. He was there almost over 15 years. But now he is the first call sub for the San Francisco Symphony Orchestra, on which he sits on that stage regularly, and the ballet. And this week is a bucket list moment for him. There's a point to this whole story, by the way. This week, he and I were just texting early this morning. He's having a bucket list experience this week. The Chicago Symphony Orchestra called him and asked him to sit in on bassoon for 2 weeks, including this coming week. The Chicago Symphony is next level quality. Chicago Symphony being considered generally one of the 5 finest orchestras in the world. We grew up in Chicago. So he is today, and in fact I said, I wish I could be there. He said, I'll fly you here. And because it's not for him about the money, he's just that excited and proud. And I texted back, among other things, Mr. Isley would be so proud of you. And part of the reason why Mr. Isley is on my mind is he just passed away this week, just this week. And not an old man, not a young man, probably in his 70s. I can't really do the math because I don't know how old he was when he started. But Mr. Isley had thousands of students. He was at Niles North for a long time. We were his first generation, but he had thousands of students. Okay, Mike. I'm not even going to include myself, even though he knew a bit about what I was doing too, and was proud of me too. But Mike, in terms of instrumental players that he handed an instrument to, who rose to literally being one of the finest on his instruments in the world, that was the one. Maybe there were a couple others that I don't know about that Mr. Isley taught all those years. okay? Elton Isley could not have seen that success coming for this one student. By the way, Mike did not have an easy time. Barely spoke English, he's a big guy, but he was bullied a lot. And his father died in high school of cancer. So he lost his father, couldn't speak very much English, had a hard time. You wouldn't have looked at him and thought, that kid is going to be on the stage in Orchestra Hall. That kid is going to sit in a tuxedo and play the finest orchestral music. He's played with every fine conductor in the world. He's worked under Zubin Mehta and John Williams, the conductor. I mean, he has played with the best because he is one of the best. And I burst with pride when I get to see him on stage, if you can imagine. I mean, I tear up. Just seeing him off in a distance, his little head. He's got a big head, but it's off in the distance. He's tall. Everybody's tall to me, but he's 6 foot something. What a success story. So Mr. Isley could have pursued getting every one of his students to rise to that kind of level. Right? He could have driven himself nuts looking at a room full of 60 kids who took band as an optional class and tried to get them all to practice 8 hours a day and become outstanding. And the truth is, you and I both know that one would have turned out outstanding, Mike, because he was meant to do it. And I've never seen him work hard at anything else, he would tell you too. But that he worked hard at. Now, you and I have lives filled with projects and tasks and intentions and goals, right? We've got our things that we wish we could do, want to do, dream about doing, plan to do. We've got our things, whether it's losing 20 pounds or seeing Europe or finding a spouse or divorcing a spouse or learning how to paint or building that business or renovating the home. We have our lists of things to do, okay? And I don't know about you, but those lists weigh pretty heavily on me. I mean, I don't wake up and pick and choose which of them are going to drive me nuts today. They pretty much all do. I have a home, I don't think I talked about it last time I was here, I have a home that's really very much a fixer-upper. It's a joke, but it's not a joke. That it really should have been called a knocker-downer. It was in horrible condition, and it was in much worse condition than we were told it was in. So it's been one unpleasant surprise after the other as you take out a piece of drywall and discover there's no wood behind it because the termites ate it, or because it was built so poorly and irrationally that no code was followed, that kind of thing. You find out the hard way, right? Well, when we look at this house, it is a never-ending to-do list, okay? We can either afford to do all of it, nor make the time to do all of it, certainly not all at once. It has to be done. The thing today that's the thing to do is the thing I'll do. Like right now, we have no banister around the stairs. It's like a sneaky little death trap in the middle of that living room. So my job this coming week is to build a banister. So I work with wood, so that's my job. That's next. Are there other things after that? Oh, so many things. But next is the banister, okay? Am I in control of that list? Am I in control of how many things end up on it, how many things I actually get done? Have you ever put something on a to-do list and never gotten it done? Or is that just always, right? I mean, it's kind of always. So we can put them on a list if we want. We can call ourselves the boss. But then we wake up in the morning and we look at the actual things that are within our actual control to do. Now here's the thing about, like I said, like today's ostensibly about breakthroughs, okay? It seems to me that if you want to have a breakthrough, you gotta let things break through, okay? And when I say that, here's what I mean. You gotta let your feelings actually break through. You gotta let disappointment break through. You gotta let an acknowledgement of what you're in control of and what you're not in control of break through a wall that you and I can build around our eyes and our minds and our lives to tell ourselves that if I haven't lost the weight, it's my failure. Or if the chemotherapy didn't work, I failed, right? Or if I don't finish the book, writing the book, or if I don't finish renovating the house, that I am letting myself down, letting someone down. These are things that really have to go away for a breakthrough to happen. I sang the song Empty Hands. And the Empty Hands song is about allowing a void, right? Thank you for my empty hands, the song says. It's kind of a weird thing to say. I don't know about you. I have empty hands sometimes. I'm a singer-songwriter, so sometimes there's no cash when I really wish there was some, you know, or some kind of opportunity that I wish there was and there isn't. My hands are empty sometimes. So, but if I'm going to allow something to arrive, I'm going to have to let it be open and empty. I'm going to have to try not to fill it with some to-do list or some story of control or some worry that really accomplishes nothing except keeping me up at night and causing me to have heartburn and higher blood pressure and eat excessive amounts of hot fudge, which I absolutely do, you know. So what is it that you are telling yourself you're in charge of and must build in order to be a success, in order to be worthy, in order to not be ashamed? Right? We set up these structures, and those structures feel tough and strong and cool and impressive to build in our minds, and then all they end up doing is exhausting us. We build these stories of what we must do and what we must achieve. Now, what if the thing you have been telling yourself your entire life you must do, you were born to do, you've got to do, others are expecting you to do? They're expecting you to be successful or smart, they're expecting you to be married, they're expecting you to have kids, they're expecting you to become a doctor, they're expecting you to get straight A's. You expect yourself to have a successful business or to drive a fancy car or to have a bigger house one day. What if those structures could be let go? What if you let those break down, those beliefs and those stories? What would you be left with? Right? That is a void that scares most people most of the time. If I'm not a loving, I mean, people say it all the time about like retirees from the NFL, free associating mind. Retirees from the NFL are said to have a particularly hard time because they have done nothing but play football since they were 5 or 6 years old, and they retire, if they're lucky, in their 30s. And they have money, if they're lucky, at certain positions. But their bodies are beat up. They've had nothing but cheering stadiums and massive adrenaline rush. And the teamwork, the camaraderie, almost like a military unit, right, of guys. And then one day, it's all gone. And former football players really struggle with asking themselves, what the hell do I do now? Who am I if I'm not playing football anymore? That's a void that you and I'm sorry to project, maybe you don't, but that I certainly labor to hold at bay, okay? Things begin and things end naturally, whether we are holding the steering wheel or not, whether we are trying to control them or letting them go. Have you ever noticed things end anyway? A relationship that isn't going to last isn't going to last. Now, the difference-making thing about worrying and trying to control it and keep it going, keeping a job going past its expiration date, right? We all know how it feels. Those last few months are hell because you're pretending that you're in the right place, and it's exhausting. I sometimes say, once you build a wall, then you must defend it. or actually the Tao from 4,000 years ago, a Chinese book, beautiful book, says once you amass possessions, you must defend them and protect them. And we know how exhausting that is. I'm not saying don't have nice stuff, but you know once you have nice stuff, one of my favorite shows is Antiques Roadshow, where somebody walks up with something they thought was just a little knick-knack, and they say, oh, this is a masterpiece from the 12th century. This is worth $140,000. And most people are like, woohoo! But every so often you get somebody say, oh, God, what am I going to do with this now? This has been under my sink, or this has been on the wall in the bedroom. Do I need to insure it? And the person says, well, yeah, you need to insure it for $200,000. Oh, God. Or sometimes they'll say, what do I tell my kids? Which one of my kids gets it? You can see sometimes the anxiety. It's real. The anxiety, once you amass possessions, you must protect them. Have you ever been through, tried to get through a international border and didn't have a paper checked, a box checked on a page? Or the right card, or the right ID, or the plane ticket in your hand, or whatever? Have you ever tried? Have you ever stood in line at customs to get into the United States? Or anywhere else? Oh, Lord, you want to become like a one-world type person? Get stuck in a line at customs, and all of a sudden you'll look at it and say, this is so stupid. I'm just trying to get from here to there, and people drew a line and built a wall, and now they're making me stand in line for an hour and a half and present a piece of paper in order to get from here to here. And once you build that wall, you got to guard it with guns. I'm not putting down national borders. I'm saying, but once you build the wall, you got to guard it with guns, right? Otherwise, there's no wall. That was the point. And once you start doing that, it is a literally never-ending task. You build a wall to keep a relationship going. Once you go put something in your life on life support, you can never unplug the machine. You will be paying that electric bill forever, until you can acknowledge, oh, geez, that was over 5 years ago. Why didn't I just let it end? You know, we all know what it's like to pile up possessions. We were just talking about the possessions of someone who's gone. And when you have the possessions of someone who's gone, right now, actually, I have the possessions of someone who's very much here. Jude's possessions, I mentioned it actually a year ago. We have all these papers and homework. You know, does anybody want to see Jude's homework from when he was in second grade? Because we've got it. We've got it saved up. We have family photos. I have, probably up in the attic, I probably have the program from my high school graduation. Why? Not only is it taking up space, but, you know, God willing, my heart stops beating long before my sons, and really before my wife's too. They're going to have to go through that crap and figure out what to do with it, right? Once you have stuff, George Carlin talks about the accumulating of stuff. You pile up your stuff and you're like, oh my God, my house doesn't hold all my stuff. I'm going to need a bigger house. And you get a bigger house, but this house doesn't hold all my stuff either. I better get a storage locker because I'm going to the mall later and I'm buying more stuff. Right? These are campaigns we engage in that require unending fuel. The fuel to keep, have you ever tried to keep loaded question, ever tried to keep a relationship, either a marriage or a dating thing, going past its expiration date? You get crankier, you fight and you don't know why, you start retreating, you laugh less, there's no more romance, you don't hold hands anymore. You know the feeling. Right? Most people know the feeling. And that is that period of time when you or I have built a story that we cannot let go. And there's no shame in it. Everybody does it. So what I'm really talking about today is just like poking and prodding a little. I'm inviting you to consider, what is it, where is it in your life that something is asking to end, or that something is asking to begin? Do you feel it? Do you hear it whispering to you? And it's just too inconvenient or painful to hear? One of the coolest stories of surrender I ever read was the story of the Beatles ending. I wasn't alive, okay? But I read a book, a very thick, beautiful book about the Beatles, and I was struck by their last 6 months or so as a band. They all knew it was over. None of them fought it. It was like a force of nature. It was like a hurricane had blown through their lives and was dissipating, and they all let it end. None of them begged for the other three to stay. It was over. One of the most graceful endings I've ever heard of in my life. Can you imagine? They were sitting on, at the time, let's say millions, but realistically, they were sitting on billions of dollars. They were sitting on stadiumfuls of people for as long as they wanted them. They were sitting on not just the past catalog, but the possibility of future masterpieces. They were sitting on a gold mine. But it was over, so they let it end. Now, to me, there's no breakthrough without that kind of acknowledgement, that kind of surrender. Right? If I'm going to, like for me, let's say me personally, I have a lifelong story about, several, everybody does maybe, but mine are a couple on being in the outside looking in is one of mine. So such that I created that reality for myself. When I got to LA to make a living making music, I figured I'm coming to LA, I'm gonna swim at the big fish. That's where the pop music business is. And sure enough, I did move to LA and I did not swim with the big fish. I avoided them completely. Instead I sang One Power at an interfaith event, or I went and sang at some benefit concert, or I volunteered at the hospital. I'm not saying it to sound noble. It was incredibly inconvenient and unpaid, essentially. Meanwhile, the music industry was going on all around me, but I had successfully created the reality that I had come to town with, that I was on the outside looking in, that I would never really get into this business. I was not cool enough, thin enough, sexy enough, tall enough, confident enough. And sure enough, it worked. So what would my breakthrough be then, really? My breakthrough would be to surrender the story. But to surrender the story is not an easy thing, right? That story comforts me. It makes me feel, sorry, I'm just like oversharing, but that's my life, really. Really, if I was to surrender the story that I'm on the outside looking in of the music business, I would have to acknowledge that I want to be in the music business, which feels a little greedy to me, a little superficial, a little selfish, right? I'd have to feel less humble, and I feel like humility is a noble trait. Right? So I'd have to say, look at me, look at me, look at me. Very uncomfortable for me. But everybody, you don't feel like Lady Gaga hesitates to say, look at me. She wants all eyes on her at all times, and it works. And everybody in that business, even in the producer business, which is where I really belong, the producer and songwriter business, you still got to schmooze. You still got to have some attitude. You got to wear much cooler shoes than I wear. You got to actually not binge on the sugar that I binge on, because you really can't be a chubby middle-aged man and walk into a room that's filled with skinny young people and sell yourself as being a great songwriter, which I believe that I am, but I've never been able to pitch that because I've never walked into a room like that with that attitude. You know what I mean? That's something I'd have to surrender. And that is a wall I built that I have not let come down. Maybe you have a wall too that you've built. You've always told yourself you're smart, or you've always told yourself you're too smart. Always told yourself that you're not lovable. Always told yourself that you're not quite talented enough, or that you're not quite good looking enough. Or you always told yourself that's not where you fit, even though in your heart you're like, I really do fit there. I should go there. But no, it's not for me. I wasn't raised to, anytime you start a sentence with I wasn't raised to, or I wasn't supposed to, or no one really would believe it if, check out where you're going with that sentence, because I once heard somebody say, if you tell your dream to 10 people in your life and they all think it's a good idea, it probably isn't your idea. But the converse is also true. If you have maybe it's a little extreme to say, but if you have a dream that makes no sense to anybody but you, it's definitely your idea. That is a new story perhaps you're trying to tell. to have that kind of breakthrough, you got to let go of what other people expect of you and how you're supposed to dress and how you're supposed to act and the level at which you're supposed to be playing. These are stories we tell ourselves and walls we build around ourselves that to break through, we got to let things break through those walls. I'm through asking where I'm going. I've been asking all my life. I've grown tired of all this wondering when everything seems to turn out right. So when my mind needs something to do, who wants to know the future, I whisper this: I'm okay. I've always been, and I'll always be that way. So here goes nothing. I'm taking a chance. I'm opening up, knowing that I'm in good hands. And here goes everything. It's all on the line. Oh, but I'm not afraid this time. Some say it's crazy. Some say naive to close my eyes and take the leap. But I know better, 'cause I believe even in the dark my soul can see. So when my mind plays its usual game, oh, my answer is always the same. Yeah. Here goes nothing. I'm taking a chance. I'm opening up, knowing that I'm in good hands. And here goes everything. It's all I'll always be that way. I'm okay. I've always been, and I'll always be that way.
Wow. Yes. Oh, look at this. Yeah. You're awesome. All right. Will our ushers please come forward? It's now time for our conscious giving. And so let's see here. All right, today we have Tom and BJ. Thank you both so much for being in service. If this service has inspired you in any way, please consider making a donation to our community. If you're tuning in on the live stream, hello. You can make your donation by going to paypal.me/awakeningways. And if you're in the room and you forgot your checkbook or your cash, no problem. You can look at your program on the back. There's a QR code that you can scan with your smartphone and make your donation that way. However you're making your donation, I invite you to please take your gift and place it over your heart. We have a giving affirmation. And if you gave at the office already or however you gave, you can place your hand over your heart. And I invite you to please repeat after me. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It is evidence of my faith and my belief. It is evidence of my faith and my belief. It does great work in the world. It does great work in the world. And returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is.
Do we have time for one more song? Now we're done? Okay. So, thank you for the kind reception. I couldn't tell you 100% what I just said, but hopefully you got something interesting out of it. These are the things I think about really in terms of what a life well lived is, you know. Do we stay in the familiar, or do we take a big chance? And does our robotic guitar tuner work? Is the other question that haunts me at night. Let's see. So yeah, I have it was very nice of you, by the way. You're so sweet to mention the things on that table. It really is like an insane little craft show. The Nahmod family, we live in Orange County, and it took a little while. Okay, so I married, my wife grew up there. I grew up in Chicago and then moved to LA for those 7 years where I avoided the music industry. And then met her and married a cute girl with a cute house and a cute dog in Orange County. And then we moved to the Fixer Upper, and the rest is very sad history. But it took us a while to realize it is legitimately, this is not a unique story in California or anywhere, but it is legitimately hard, for real, to like pay the bills. I mean, in general, but in Orange County, it's expensive. You know, you guys pay the same kind of gas we do, and it's crazy. You know, and it took us a while to realize that part of the reason, at least for us, why living in Orange County is hard is because we may be the only independent artists living in a house in Orange County. I mean, everyone around us is a doctor or a business owner, and it's like we're just, you know, writing our songs and making our jewelry, and it's all very sweet and cute, and the whole thing is not structured for such people. You know, anyway. So we live in kind of a little compound. We live in a house which has a room for crafts and a room for jewelry and a room for music, and Jude has been making chocolates lately and candies, and they really are legitimately delicious, and he's very excited. I was telling you that he's very excited about me putting them on my table to sell for a couple bucks here and there, because he's trying to save up money for a Nintendo Switch. And they're delicious. The candies are for real.
We're gonna buy them all. But now we have
you're
our
welcome to do that.
order of service a little bit
okay.
wonky. So
Wonky? Go ahead. All right.
So we have the offering now. So we're gonna just kind of move forward a little
Good.
bit. So
Yeah.
and
Go
then you'll play in a moment.
Got
so
it.
give us a moment
Great.
here. All right. So
That was a very tactful way to tell me to shut up. That was
thank
good.
you. I've got practice.
Well. Yes,
right?
yes, that was good. That was good. You should be a minister.
Yeah. All right, so our practitioner is now going to bless the offering.
All right, well, let's just take a moment. Oh, my goodness. I give thanks for the bounty of this day, for the bounty in this basket, for the bounty in the internet that's coming to our office. I know that this good radiates out from this spiritual community, and it affects our greater community. And I'm so grateful for that. And so, with a heart filled with gratitude, I just let this go, and so it is.
And then we have announcements. Jim's going to run up here real quick and do announcements. Yes, take a seat. It's going to be a moment. Oh, yes, you do. You're fast. All right.
There is a lot to talk about. Here we go. First, I would like to announce that Reverend Elizabeth has been elected to serve on the Ministers' Council at CSL Home Office. Big deal. We need to celebrate her service there and also bringing a higher profile to our community. So that's pretty cool. How long does that, is it a yearly thing? 3 years. Okay, great. Also, we have 6 already amazing gourmet events, Gourmets for God events, but we'd like at least 4 more. So if you have something in mind, come on over to the side table or talk to Reverend Elizabeth about that, and we'd love to have your dates as soon as possible because this thing closes up, when was it? April 13th, 2 weeks from today. All right, now take a look in your bulletin. There's something new. There's a lavender sheet in there, and that has, I think there's 12 events that's going on for us, mostly at our office, the center there, during the month of April. So it makes it easier for you to just stick it on the fridge and not miss anything. Remember, every Wednesday we've got meditation, 6 o'clock at our center at El Camino Real. It might be held by, we don't know who's going to be the leader any given week, but it's going to be every Wednesday at 6. Practitioner and ministerial student Susan Jones will be our guest speaker next week, so we're looking forward to that. The youth program, and we call it Spiritual Sprouts, is on with Sonia next Sunday, the 6th. So if you have kids, grandkids, I guess even great-grandkids, bring them in. The next Men's Connecting Circle, that's a monthly meeting, and it's on Monday, April 7th at 6 o'clock at David Clark's house, right? It's still being held there. And there's a good 10 or so men there, but they would love to have another one. So sign up at the side table if you have any inclination that you might enjoy that. Where are we? Foundations of Practical Spirituality, the Foundations class, is being given starting on Tuesday, April 8th. So that'll be a week from Tuesday. This is a 10-week class on every Tuesday. It goes from 6 to 8:30. It's a pretty big deal. Is this going to be in person, or is it going to be in-person class at our center on El Camino? This is a prerequisite for every other class, so if you're thinking about it, this is your chance. There are payment plans available in case you need it. Now, our favorite Buddhist monk, Geshe Lobsang Setan, he returns for 3 visits again in the middle of April. It'll be the 16th, 17th, and 18th, which is a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, sharing his wisdom about the white Tara. And I didn't know about this, so I had to look it up. The white Tara is a female bodhisattva, and it associated with healing, longevity, and serenity. And so I think what's happening, correct me if I'm wrong here, he will have his wisdom and start and talk about this white Tara on the Wednesday and Thursday, and then do a beautiful white Tara blessing on Friday the 18th. So this sounds great. I got it right? Good. Now, there's no fee to attend, but all offerings will go to a girls' school called Dory Zong, I'm hoping I say that right, in India, which he started approximately 12 years ago. We are providing a meal for ECHO, the El Camino homeless organization, on Thursday, the 24th of this month. So if you would like to prepare or serve or deliver food, please sign up at the side table. Going forward into May, save the date for the first meeting of the Women's Connection Circle. And I noticed over here 12 people have signed up for that, so that's great. But if you want to add your name to the list, it's over at the side table. Their first meeting will be on Thursday, May 8th from 6 to 8 at the office, our center there on El Camino. And then future meetings will be decided where and when, I guess, from there. And finally, as always, let's give a big shout out to all our volunteers and staff. We love you.
That was a lot. Thank you so much. All right, so we're going to be changing up those announcements starting next week. We'll just have you look at your lavender sheet going forward. That's a lot, right? We got a lot going on. All right, and so also in the interest of time, I'm going to invite you to please stand and take the hand of the person on your right and on your left, and we'll do our benediction and call and response, and then we'll have Daniel do his final song. Yeah, we have just a short one after this part. And then because we want to give Daniel some time to also go to his table and have some food, and then we have our concert starting at noon. So I want you to know with me that you are never alone, that God is where you are right now and always, and all that we ever need do is turn within, and it is here we will find we are guided, sustained, directed, and inspired by a source that knows only good. Joyously let us make use of these gifts in all that we think, in all that we say, and in all that we do. Please repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening as me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in my relationships. Life is everywhere. I think it. I feel it. I believe it. I express it. I accept it. Just the way that it is, and just the way that it is not. Thank you, life. Thank you, Daniel.
You guys feel like singing something? I don't know if you know this song. Love is my decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. Love is my decision. No one else and no one else can tell me to start, can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me. It's up to